Okay, I just want to do some of the problems that you missed on your exam. So let's do the first one. This is problem number 3. And it's on the MML Exam 4. So you were asked to multiply, this is number 3. You were asked to multiply 7x plus 1/4 times 7x minus 1/4. And in the problem itself, it says use special products to multiply. So you have to recognize which special product to use. And the one we're going to be using here is A plus B times A minus B, and that's equal to A squared minus B squared. In this case, seven x is going to be my A, and 1/4 is going to be my B. So we have 7x, my A squared is 7x squared, from this minus, my B is 1/4, 1/4 squared. But 7x squared is equal to 7 squared times x squared. That's one of our exponent rules. So that's equal to 49x squared. And 1/4 squared is equal to 1/4 times 1/4, which is equal to 1 times 1, which is 1. 4 times 4 is 16. So this is equal to 49x squared minus 1/16. Okay, let's do another one. The next one I'm going to do is number 4. You're asked to factor the polynomial 9x squared minus 14x minus 8. So the first thing we want to do is, what is the greatest common factor of 9x squared, 14x, and 8? And it turns out it's equal to 1. So we can't factor out a greatest common factor. We just have to go with it the way it is. So we're going to do my table method. So again, we'll write our little box over here. And up here goes 9x squared. And this is minus 8. And this is minus 14x. So since this is minus, let's just start here. We're going to start the multiplication this way. So remember, this is trial and error. or another way of saying it, it's a guess and check method. So, I don't really know, but I'm going to try 9x and x. So 9x times x is 9x squared. So for minus 8, I'm going to try minus 8 and 1. And then I do the downward multiplication. So 1 times minus 8 is minus 8. 9x times x is 9x squared. 1 times minus 8 is minus 8. But 9x times 1 is 9x. And x times minus 8 is minus 8x. But this is equal to minus x, and I want it to be equal to minus 14x. So that's not going to work. We have to try something else. And here you want to use some logic. Since minus 8 is negative, exactly one of these has to be negative. Only one. Either this box is negative or this box is negative. Since we have minus 14x here, then I want the largest of the product to be negative. So you just have to guess and check. So now I'm going to try minus 4 and 2. So that's going to give me minus 36x plus 2x. And that's not equal to minus 14x, so that's not going to work. Let's try something else. What happens if I try 2 and minus 4? Or maybe minus 2 and 4. Well, 9x times 2 is minus 18x. And x times 4 is 4x. And guess what? Minus 18x plus 4x is equal to minus 14x. So I found my factorization. So now all you have to do is remember how to take your factorization from this table. So we go this way and this way. And the factorization turns out to be nine x plus 4 x minus 2. And it does not matter which order these are in. That's the same thing as x minus 2, 9x plus 4. They're both the same. Okay. The next one we're going to do is problem number 5. Simplify and result should have all positive exponents. So I have y raised to the 6a. And that whole entire thing is raised to the 4th power. And over here, I have y to the a minus 6 as an exponent. So we have this rule a times b raised to the mth power is equal to a to the m times b to the m. So here, if a is equal to y, oh, I don't even need this one. And we also have another one, a to the k power. Let me actually give you the it's closer to what you remember seeing. A raised to the nth power raised to the mth power is equal to a to the n times m. So that's what I'm going to use up here. So this becomes y to the 4 times 6a power. And down here, the only thing I'm going to do is write my exponent in parentheses. So this is my exponent. It's in parentheses. So now I'm going to simplify the exponent up here. That's y to the 4 times 6a is 24a over y to the a minus 6. So what I want to do is notice that y to the m over y to the n is equal to y to the m minus n. So here my m is going to be my 24a, and my n is going to be my a minus 6. So this is equal to y to the 24a minus a minus 6, which can be rewritten as y to the 24a minus a plus 6, which is equal to y. 24a minus a is 23a plus 6, and that's the answer. The rest of them, I just want you to look in the book. I'm not going to do all of these. Some of these are too easy. I want to do the ones that I can consider maybe at least somewhat difficult enough to merit doing them. If you want me to do the others, I need you to work them out, send me what you do so I can see the error and correct the error. So this one's problem number 9, and we're asked to multiply out 6x minus y squared. Again, they want us to use special products. And we have the formula a minus b squared is equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So let's write that underneath here. That's a minus b squared, in which case my 6x is equal to my a, and my y is equal to the b. So by the formula, this is equal to 6x squared minus 2 times 6x times b. Sorry, not b, y. plus y squared. So 6x squared, again it's that rule, 6x squared is equal to 6 squared times x squared, which is equal to 36x squared. This is equal to 36x squared. Minus 2 times 6 times x times y is minus 12xy plus y squared. The next one I'm going to do is going to be another factor, and this is number 13. We're supposed to factor x squared minus 5x minus 36. So notice this is x squared minus 5x minus 6 squared. But that's not going to help because we don't have a formula for a squared minus 2ab plus b squared is our formula for a minus b squared. And this is a minus sign right here. So this is, can't use it. So we have to factor it the regular method. So again, I write my table. X squared goes up here, minus 36 here, and minus 5x here. So since this is x squared, I only have one choice, x and x. So x times x gives me x squared. This is minus 36, so exactly one of the factors has to be negative. So I'm going to do, maybe, since that's negative, minus 9 and 4. Minus 9 times 4 gives me minus 36. Now let's do this way. Minus 9 times x is minus 9x. X times 4 is plus 4x. And that is equal to minus 5x. So I have my factorization. And the factorization I just take from here is x plus 4 times x minus 9. And the next one I'm going to do is number 14. And this is a select the choice below. So they want to know what is y minus 6 squared minus 1. So whenever you see a negative sign, think about a squared minus b squared. And that factorization is a minus b, a plus b. Here, I'm going to let a be y minus 6, so then I get a squared. So if I let a equal y minus 6, then a squared is equal to y minus 6 squared. But what about 1? If I let b equal 1, then b squared is equal to 1 squared, so that's still equal to 1. So this gives a minus b times a plus b. But a is equal to y minus 6, and b is equal to 1. So let's simplify. A is equal to y minus 6. B is equal to 1, so that's minus 1. A is equal to y minus 6, and b is equal to 1. So that simplifies to y minus 7, because minus 6 minus 1 is minus 7, times y minus 6 plus 1 is minus 5. And that's the answer. Notice, if you're looking at the answer sheet, they have the answer as y minus 5 times y minus 7, and that's exactly the same thing, because this is one thing times another thing. And when I multiply two things, the order does not matter. That's the commutative property. Okay. Continuing on. We're going to do number 19. And we're asked to solve the equation. And we have a squared plus 7a plus 10 is equal to 0. So there's only one way we have to solve that, and it's called the zero factor property. So that term factor right there tells me that we're going to have to factor this. That says if you have two numbers like r and s, and I multiply them together and I get 0, then r is equal to 0 or s is equal to 0. So we need to factor a squared plus 7a plus 10. So we'll do it over here. This is a squared, this is 10, and this is 7a. So this has to be a and a. A times a is a squared. 10, let's try 2 times 5. Well, 2 times 5 gets me 10. Now let's go down this way. A times 2 is 2a. A times 5 is 5a. And 2a plus 5a is equal to 7a. So I have my factorization. So this becomes a plus 5 times a minus 2 is equal to 0. So let's look at our property. If I let this be R and this be S, then I have R times S is equal to 0. So the property says either R is equal to 0 or S is equal to 0. But R is equal to A plus 5. So that's supposed to be a 5 is equal to 0. Or S is A minus 2 is equal to 0. So if I solve this equation right here, if A plus 5 is equal to 0, that means A is equal to minus 5. Or, if A minus 2 is equal to 0, solving for A, that means A is equal to 2. So the solutions are, in any order, this is supposed to be positive. Sorry. I don't know why I put a negative there. This is A plus 5, A plus 2. So that should be a negative and a negative. So A plus 5, A plus 2. So R is equal to A plus 5. S is equal to A plus 2. So A plus 5 is equal to 0. Means A is equal to minus 5. A plus 2 is equal to 0. Means A is equal to minus 2. So my solutions are minus 2 and minus 5. And that's the answer. A lot of these are factoring problems. So factoring is a really important tool. So you're asked to factor. This is number 20. You're asked to factor (100) x squared plus 20x plus 1. So is this of the form? Notice that 100x squared is the same as 10x squared. And 1 is equal to 1 squared. So this reminds me of special products. A squared plus 2ab plus b squared is equal to a plus b squared. So if I let my a be 10x, then a squared is equal to 100x squared. That's what I have right there. If I let my b be equal to 1, then b squared is equal to 1 squared, which is equal to 1. So that gives me 100x squared plus 1. That's almost what I have up here. So now the question is, what is 2 times a times b? Well, that's equal to 2. A is equal to 10x, and b is equal to 1. So that's equal to 20x. And that's what 2ab is. and that's what I have up here. So this factors as, let's concentrate on this right here. I'll just come over here. Is equal to A, which is 10x, plus B, which is 1, squared. So that's the factorization right there. That's the answer they wanted, was this right here. Now let's do number 23. This is 8x to the minus 6 times y times z to the minus 4 power over 4 times x to the 4th y times z. They want it fully simplified. With all positive exponents. So let's simplify the 8 divided by 4. Well, 8 divided by 4 is equal to 2. So I'm going to change this to 2. 2 over 1 if you need to see that. And what do we do? To make something have a positive exponent, so to make a negative exponent positive, move the term across the division line. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it down to here. So down here I already have an x to the 4th, and it's going to be joined with an x to the 6th power. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cancel any like terms. Here is a y and here is a y, and y divided by y is equal to 1. So the y terms cancel out. And then I'm going to take the z to the minus 4th and move it under here to make that negative exponent positive. So I already have my z term down there, and it's going to be joined with z to the 4th. And all of these are multiplied by each other. So now I just add the exponents. X to the 4th times x to the 6th is x to the 4 plus 6. And z times z to the 4th is z to the 1 plus 4. So that finally simplifies to 2 over x to the 10th z to the 5th. And one last one. So this is the answer right here, right there. So one last one. This is number 25. You have 6x minus 2y times 6x minus y. So the way I taught you how to do this is to take the first term, 6x, and multiply it by the entire second factor. Then take the second term in the first factor and multiply it again by the second factor. So what we're doing is a form of distribution. I'm taking 6x and I'm multiplying it to this entire thing. And then I'm taking minus 2y and multiplying it again by the exact same thing. So I get this over here. So I have to go ahead and multiply out, collect like terms, and simplify. So 6x times 6x is 36x squared. So I'm using distribution. 6x times minus y is minus 6xy. Doing the same thing over here using distribution again. I'm going to take this entire thing minus 2y and multiply it by 6x and then multiply it by minus y. So minus 2y times 6x is minus 12xy. You could say minus 12yx, but this is all multiplication. So that's exactly the same as minus 12xy. And since I have x first here, I want to put x first there too. And then now we're doing the minus 2y times minus y. So that's plus 2y squared. So now we're going to collect like terms. And our like terms are kind of already collected for us. They're right here. So the answer turns out to be 36x squared minus 6xy minus 12xy is minus 18xy. And then at the very end I have plus 2y squared. And that's it. So I've done several for you. This one was number 25. And take what you've learned here and slowly go back and review your other ones. But it's very important that you continue on the path with chapter number 6.